We're opening the door today on a case that really is a masterclass in, well, in deceptive appearances. It's a silent tragedy set in a luxury apartment in Alexandria, Egypt.
Hmm.
And it concealed a crime so cold, so calculated it took, what, 8 months just to even begin to recognize the horror?
That's right. We're talking about 2010. The place is Smoha,
Hmm?
a very upscale, affluent neighborhood in Alexandria. It screams success, really.
Yeah, exactly. And this particular apartment, high up, desirable building, it should have been full of life.
But it wasn't. Instead, when a relative, Ahmed's relative, arrives and starts knocking, the sound just echoes. It's flat, unnatural, just heavy silence.
And that silence in a home known for being vibrant, that's the first real chilling sign, isn't it?
Absolutely. So the relative calls the youngest member of her family, Ahmed. He's just coming back from the club. There's this immediate urgency.
Ahmed gets there, uses his own key, opens the door, and just walks into this perfect stillness.
And the scene inside, it doesn't immediately suggest violence. It's more like interruption.
Right. The dining room table's set. There are leftovers from a fish dinner, freshly made it seems. 4 juice cups are there too. The air is just heavy, still.
Ahmed walks deeper in, and that's when he finds her. His sister, Amina, motionless, in the kitchen.
Oh, God.
Then his mother, Amani. His father, Khaled. Found in other rooms, still. An entire successful family. Just gone in a moment.
The police arrive, emergency services. The initial shock, you imagine, just turns into sheer bewilderment.
Yeah, how could this happen? This family, they seemingly had everything. Engineer Khaled, highly successful, no forced entry, no signs of a struggle. How do 3 people just vanish after dinner?
It's baffling, but maybe to really get at the truth here, we need to understand the foundation, the wealth that built this life.
Exactly. Who was Engineer Khaled? Let's rewind a bit. Look at how this fortune came to be.
Okay.
So Khaled was, a classic self-made man, middle-class background, but brimming with ambition. He wanted to build big things, contracting, but he lacked the money.
Right, the capital.
His whole life changes when he meets and marries Amani. Now, her family was financially established.
Oh, okay.
And when Amani's father passed away, she inherited a pretty substantial sum.
The launch pad.
Precisely. She agreed to sell part of that inheritance to fund Khalid's dream, his contracting company. She put her trust in him.
And he delivered.
Oh, absolutely. He turned that initial investment into, exponential wealth. Very quickly, especially after their kids, Amina and then Ahmed, were born.
Their fortune just ballooned. We're talking, what, an estimated 15 million Egyptian pounds at the time?
Yeah, and just to give some context, that's a significant multi-million-dollar fortune by international standards. Very valuable assets, and crucially, very visible assets.
Which brings us right to the cracks in the foundation, the conflict. Khalid buys that beautiful Smuha apartment we started with.
But he titles it entirely in Amani's name.
Why? As a gesture.
It was meant as a gesture of trust, yeah. Returning the trust, securing the asset for his wife. But that decision, it drove a huge wedge between them and their extended families.
How so?
It's tragic, really, how the money started poisoning things. Khalid's own family felt completely alienated. They saw him, their relative, the one earning the money, building this incredible fortune.
But the physical symbol of it, the apartment, was secured by Amani, the in-law.
Exactly. They felt, exploited, cut off from his success. And at the same time, Amani's sister was apparently just consumed with jealousy.
By her.
Because Amani had taken her inheritance share and multiplied it massively through Khalid's business, the sister's share, it had just dwindled. So resentment all around.
So fast forward back to 2010. The tension is high. Khalid's 50, Amani 42. Their daughter, Amina, she's 20, doing well in pharmacy school, seems compliant.
But Ahmed, the son, 19, he's the source of constant worry. Rebellious, hanging out with friends his parents deeply disapproved of.
Even though they'd apparently showered him with gifts, an expensive car for college, things like that.
Right. They were trying to manage him, control his social life, which ultimately leads us to that last dinner.
The fish meal.
Prepared by Amani. The family gathers, but Ahmed says he won't eat with them. Claims he has a dinner reservation at the club.
Okay, and he leaves soon after.
Yes. Now, when the police arrive later and examine that scene, they note the fish and those 4 juice cups.
Ah, the juice cups. What about them?
3 are partially drunk, but 1 cup is completely empty.
And whose was that?
Ahmed confirmed it was his. He said he was there, drank his juice, and then left for the club, establishing his alibi.
So initially, what did the authorities think happened?
Well, at that time, Alexandria had seen a number of mass poisoning incidents, often linked to contaminated seafood, maybe laced with agricultural pesticides, insecticides.
Right, I remember reading about that.
So the forensic evidence comes back, and it confirms death by poisoning, an insecticide or pesticide found in the fish meal.
So with the medical examiner ruling it accidental death and Ahmed having this confirmed alibi from the club,
The case was closed. A terrible, tragic accident. The family was buried. And Ahmed, just 19, the sole survivor, becomes the sole heir to that entire 15 million EGP fortune.
wow, just like that.
Just like that. For 8 months, that was the story. The wealth was being sorted out. Life presumably was moving on for Ahmed.
But then something shifts.
Yeah.
Dramatically.
Violently. The silence, the official ruling, it's shattered, and it's shattered by someone from inside the family.
Right.
Who? Khalid's elderly mother, Ahmed's paternal grandmother.
His grandmother. What does she do?
She went straight to the authorities and formally accused her own grandson, Ahmed, of murdering his entire family.
That's staggering. A grandmother accusing her grandson of mass murder 8 months after the fact.
Mm.
When the official ruling was accidental, why wasn't Ahmed looked at more closely initially?
Well, that initial ruling was very strong, given the context of the other poisoning cases. It seemed to fit a pattern. The accidental death theory was convenient, perhaps.
But the grandmother's accusation, that forces them to look again.
It forces them to look past the toxicology report and focus on the human element, on Ahmed himself.
What was her basis? I mean, that's an immense accusation to make.
She gave them 2 crucial pieces of information. First, she pointed out Ahmed's behavior after the tragedy. She said he showed absolutely no normal signs of grief or shock. He was just unnaturally composed.
Okay, unsettling, but maybe not proof.
But the second point was the bombshell. She claimed she personally overheard him on the phone telling someone, and this is the quote, he did it.
He did it. Just like that.
Just like that. That single phrase cracked the whole thing wide open.
So the case is reopened. Investigators start digging into Ahmed's life.
And suddenly all this other information surfaces. Confirmation of intense, frequent fights between Ahmed and his father, Khaled. Witnesses, people close to Ahmed, started saying things like, nothing was ruled out, suggesting he was capable of, well, anything.
And that 15 million EGP inheritance, it stops looking like a tragic consequence and starts looking like a potential motive.
A very powerful motive. So Ahmed is arrested. He's confronted with all this new evidence security forces have gathered.
And what happens? Does he deny it? Stick to the alibi?
You'd expect a strong denial, right? Especially given the initial ruling. But no. What happened next was, frankly, shocking.
He confessed?
He confessed. Admitted to killing his father, his mother, and his sister.
But the motive, I mean, for something so horrific, what could possibly...
The motive he gave was almost bizarrely shallow. He claimed his goal wasn't actually to kill them.
What? Then what?
He said he only intended to make them sick. Sick enough to be hospitalized for a long time.
Why?
So he could have the house to himself, free of his parents' rules, their interference, so he could finally host his friends there, the very friends his father had strictly forbidden him from seeing.
He poisoned his entire family for a party house. It's almost unbelievable.
The calculation involved is chilling, especially for a 19-year-old. Think about it. He overhears his father talking about buying poison and insecticide for a stray dog causing problems in the building. He takes that poison, he mixes it into the fish his mother prepared for the family dinner, and this detail is just horrifying. He sits down at the table with them.
Drinks his juice,
leaving that empty cup as proof he was there, participating, watches his family eat the poisoned meal, and then calmly leaves to establish his rock-solid alibi at the club.
The cold-bloodedness.
It's staggering, and the immediate fallout from this confession wasn't just public horror, though there was plenty of that. It instantly, violently shifted the focus back to the money.
Because if he's the killer...
He's legally disqualified from inheriting. As the murderer, he can't benefit from the crime. So that immense fortune, the 15 million EGP, the company, the apartment... it's suddenly up for grabs.
And it gets split between the surviving families.
Between the paternal side Khalid's relatives and the maternal side Amani's relatives. And this is where the real war begins.
It reveals such a cynical underbelly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The legal drama that follows is all about the money.
Completely. The inheritance became this volatile prize. Khalid's family, the paternal side, they hire a very famous, very high-profile lawyer, Talat el-Sanat.
Known for taking tough cases. But their goal wasn't justice for Khaled and Amani and Amina, was it?
Not primarily, no. Their goal was purely financial. They aimed to defend Ahmed, their argument. He was coerced into confessing, maybe, or his youth meant it wasn't premeditated murder.
Why defend the confessed killer of their relatives?
Because if they could somehow get a lesser charge, something that didn't automatically disqualify him from inheriting, or maybe argue someone else influenced him,
Then the fortune stays, technically under Ahmed's control.
and therefore within the paternal family's potential reach. It's a horrifying display of greed layered on top of tragedy.
So the legal battle just drags on and on.
For over 13 years, some sources even say 15 years, it became this absolute labyrinth of appeals, motions. The defense fought tooth and nail, even after El Sadat himself passed away and other lawyers took over.
Fighting not really for Ahmed, but for the company shares, for that apartment.
That's the grim reality of it. But in the end, despite all the legal maneuvering, the courts upheld the original findings. The evidence of premeditation, the confession, it all stood.
So after all that time, Ahmed was executed, after nearly 15 years of litigation.
A truly devastating end to the whole saga. But you mentioned the greed didn't stop there?
No, because even after Ahmed's execution, the apartment, the site of the crime, remained. It had been closed up for 15 years, this sort of physical monument to the whole terrible affair.
And the relatives finally decided to sell it, liquidate the asset after all that fighting.
Exactly. They finally moved to sell it, and that's when they discovered one last, incredibly cynical player in this whole drama. A final human ghost, as some called it.
What happened?
They found out that a woman, someone working in the legal field apparently, had seen the chaos, the endless disputes over the property.
And saw an opportunity.
A massive one. She had forged a 59-year lease contract for that multi-million-pound apartment in her own name.
You're kidding. 59 years. 59 years. Basically locking it up. The relatives, who had fought for a decade and a half over this asset, were completely blocked. They couldn't sell their own inherited property unless this woman voluntarily agreed to leave.
The greed just never stopped. It started with the son killing his family, continued with the relatives fighting over the spoils, and ended with a stranger trying to snatch the very scene of the crime.
It really shows how wealth itself can act like a poison, doesn't it? It consumed the family from within, leading to their deaths, and then it consumed the survivors in this bitter, protracted legal war.
It does make you circle back to Ahmed, though. 19 years old. The prosecution focused on the premeditation, the cold calculation, the empty juice cup, the alibi. It seems clear-cut.
Legally it was.
But thinking about the sheer intensity of that inheritance battle afterwards, the millions at stake, was his stated motive just wanting a party house really the whole story? Or is it possible that young, rebellious mind was somehow manipulated, pushed by someone else, one of those other human ghosts, who saw 15 million EGP as the ultimate prize?
It's a chilling thought, isn't it? We might never know the absolute truth behind his actions. But that apartment in Smoha, it definitely stands as a monument to avarice. Haunted, perhaps not by the dead, but by the relentless greed of the living.